This doesn't affect the present building. Nothing will change on the present building. If this lawsuit gets out of the way, we're going to go ahead with the present plans we already have, which comply with the present zoning. This article affects one building. It affects the public safety building, the combined police and fire building that our great-grandchildren are going to build in 75 years. That's the absolute only building this affects. It doesn't affect a public safety parking lot. On its face, it says it affects a combined public safety building. That's not a parking lot, that's not a cell tower, that's not a windmill. So if you vote to approve this, the rights that you're violating,
Time, please.
or taking away, are your great-grandchildren's rights. And town meeting in the year 2000, if it wants to do away with this, is certainly free to do it. I urge you to approve this. Let us go ahead with the public safety building we've got planned, that we've been spending all this money on, and not have to wait until 2027 to go
Thank you
ahead.
very much. Yeah.
Amanda Tower, 29 Linebrook Road. First, there's 2 points before I get to what my original point was going to be. And first, I know that there was a letter to the editor that this is far more than 10 people that are opposing this project. And we saw that in the letter to the editor, in the paper, in a variety of other ways. The other point I also want to draw issue with is the planning board spoke about designating a specialty committee to this, which if that is in reference to the design review board, they did not take the design review board's recommendations. And I know that that was another hot button topic. So I don't appreciate the lack of clarity around that as far as those votes go. But tonight we're talking about something incredibly important with zoning bylaws, and there's been a lot about whether or not we want a new public safety building tonight, and that is a lot of the sentiment that's coming through. What we are deciding is if we want to change the law to make that happen. This is a danger that has been said multiple times tonight. As we've heard, this article is for this specific location and this specific project. All the committees and boards have made that clear in their discussions tonight and in the evenings leading up to tonight. This is the only project that they talk about when talking about making this zoning bylaw change. You may feel it is pressing that we do need a new public safety facility and that but I don't want people to feel rushed to tailor our zoning laws to accommodate the project. This isn't how we should be treating the citizens that are voicing their opinions the way that they need to be voicing it. By hastily approving zoning changes for a specific development, we risk setting a dangerous precedent, one that is illegal and could undermine the very purpose of our zoning regulations. We have to draw a clear line between supporting a particular project and upholding the integrity of our zoning laws. While some may argue passionately and in favor of the proposed safety facility, we can't ignore the legitimate concerns that are being raised about spot zoning. Thank you.
Before we move on to the next speaker, we've been approximately 50 minutes into this discussion. I'm going to entertain one more speaker from each side. If I can finish, I'm going to entertain one more speaker from each side, and then I will poll the room to see if they're ready to vote. At that point, you can express your opinion as to whether you want to continue the debate or not. There's a question?
I'm going to put this as I think this thing's off. I'm going to put this as a question so that I can allow one more speaker from the support microphone, if I may.
If it's a question about process or procedure, fine.
Well,
But if
I'm going to phrase it as a question. I wonder, Mr. Moderator, if the town council could reaffirm that this is not spot zoning.
I think that these are opinions that are legitimately questioned He did make a statement earlier. There's no need to go back to him. He made a statement that he felt it was not spot zoning. A question?
Thank you. Joy Jartman, 33 Summer Street. If this article passes, will the conditions requested by the planning board still be implemented? For example, will a traffic study be performed, and will the findings be addressed with the planning board?
That's not a question about procedure. It's really a question that should have been proposed by either standing at one of the microphones.
Oh, I apologize.
But that's fine. I'll allow it. I think that the planning board can speak to the question. I think that perhaps they can correct me if I'm wrong.
That the highest number, when you all were talking up there, went up to 505, but you have been calling the end of voting when it's been in the low 400s. And I would request, I don't know, I guess this is a question, I would request that with sensitive issues, that we be sure to allow 20 seconds or give people some kind of warning. We don't want to have a vote that's messed up because, I mean, I've been watching them. and the
Fair
numbers are
point.
still
We've been keeping the polling open consistently at 15 seconds.
After,
When we call for the vote,
right.
we keep the polling open for 15's been consistent.
And I can tell you that the numbers are still clicking in
Well,
when you close the vote, so.
then I would encourage the room to vote quickly, because we're not. Yes.